Life, we as humans, we go through diverse problems and troubles in life. I remember when Jesus was leaving the earth, he did tell us that I leave the earth, you go through plenty troubles, but don't be worried, for I've overcome the world. So, but the crux of the matter here is that when we go through issues, when in situations that we cannot help ourselves, we always think of how we can come out of that situation immediately, but forgetting how we got there. So that's the crux of the matter, because why we must think of how we got into that situation, because if a problem is known, it's actually half solved. Let me tell you a story of my growing days. I grew up in a place called Warri, a small town in Delta State, and I went fishing one day at the riverside on top of a boat. I caught so many fishes, but unfortunately for me, I fell into the water. I was drowning, and thank God help came. As help came, I was being rescued. But look at my mindset. My mindset was, as they were rescuing me, I was thinking of my fish. I held tight to my fish, thinking of the fish I'm going to lose, forgetting the fact that I need to get out of this place. I mean, think of how did I get into this river in the first place, and how am I going to get out of it? You see, most of us find ourselves in that kind of situation in life. And that is what I want to look at today, as an advocate of a better Nigeria, which I am, because I believe this present Nigeria has been taken away, and the Nigeria that is to come, there's a Nigeria that is to come whose builder, founder, and maker is God. So I want to take us back so that we can look at the genesis of the problem that has been befalling us as a nation. Where we find ourselves right now, there's kidnapping, there's terrorism, there's banditry, there's bad governance. We must reflect our mind on how did this all began. It started from somewhere. I will take you there, but let's look at this. You always hear me talk about, you see, the problem of Nigeria is a tripartite problem. When I mean tripartite in the sense that it's a three-dimensional problem. Number one, the problem is not with Nigeria. Nigeria is a country that inhabits Nigerians. We are the Nigerians. So we, as Nigerians, are the problem of Nigeria. What do I mean? We have a problem of nepotism, we have a problem of religious bigotry, we have a problem of bad governance, we have a problem of ethnic and political crisis, we also have a problem of ethnicity, whichever one you might name it to be. That's one dimension that we all are found wanting in that area, and that has kept this country where it is. But the second one is the colonial masters. The colonial masters that came to colonize us, when they came, to colonize us, they came with Christianity and they came with education, which is a good one. But suffice me to borrow the word of the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu of blessed memory in South Africa. He made a statement. He said the white people came, the colonial masters, when they came, they asked us to close our eyes. And when we closed our eyes, they gave us a Bible. And as they gave us a Bible, we before we open our eyes, they've divided our lands among themselves. So you see, it's a problem of tussle for power and acquisition of land. And that has been the bane of our problem in this country, Nigeria, today. But before I go too further, I want to bring you back to what I have in mind to talk today about, and that's the Igbo tribe. The Igbo as a tribe, as one of the major tribes that we have in Nigeria. The Igbos occupy the southeastern part of Nigeria, and their major states is Enugu State, Ebonyi State, Imo State, and what do you call it again? And one other state. About 5 states they occupy: Ebonyi State, Enugu State, Imo State, and one other states. For about 5 states that the Igbos are occupying. The Igbos are predominantly farmers, and if you want to rate them, they are staunch businessmen. When you talk about business, the Igbos are the China of Nigeria. They are very industrious when it comes to business, and that has not been taken away from them. The Igbos are very vast in business, and they interact very well. And business is the core of their life as a people. that is predominantly occupying the eastern part and of Nigeria. They are an aggressive people, and you should know that they're aggressive in their nature, and that is one thing we know them to be, because they want to conquer. Like people, it is said that when you give an Igbo man a space, he wants to occupy the whole place. So that's how they are, you know. An Igbo man wants to occupy the whole place because why? They are focused in conquering, you know. So that's it. So let me take you back again, you know, to where it all began, you know. I mean, the genesis of the problem of Nigeria. Well, in 1960, there's a man called Chukwuma Kaduna. He staged a coup, and that coup was very bloody. The target was that he killed most of the prominent people, prominent leaders that we have in Nigeria. I mean, Samadi Bello, the Sadana of Sokoto, was killed. The first prime minister of Nigeria was also killed. Sabu Bakata Balewa and Akintola, is it Ladoja Akintola, and one other person was killed in that coup. It was so bloody. And again, after that, there's a bloody coup. Remember again that Chukwuma Kaduna was an Igbo man. After that, that coup occurred in January 15, 1966. After that, there's a counter coup in that same year, 29th of July. There's a counter coup. I mean, that saw Aguiyi Ironsi emerge. Aguiyi Ironsi is an Igbo man. And he's from Anambra State, I think. He's an Igbo man also that emerged as the leader of that coup. And when he came in, there was an uprising from the north. You know, the north, they always say it's a place of seat of power. So they were seeing all these scenes that is happening. And there are some young military leaders from the north that rose up and countered that coup that same year. They countered that coup, and a lot of Igbos were killed. They were slaughtered. That led to they countered that coup, and Aguiyi Ironsi was killed, and his aide, Fajuyi, his aide was killed. And that led to this mass slaughter of Igbos in the north, specifically in places like Sokoto and Kano. A lot of Igbos were massacred. Their goods were looted, both the young, the old, and the aged. I mean, suckling. I mean, they dealt with Igbos recklessly. Follow me where I'm going to. That was what led to the political, ethnic tension and political what have you that rose up at that time. So with all these things happening, there was a call by the military people at that time, and they were looking for the way forward, and that led to the Aburi Accord. I mean, some military head of states, including Yakubu Gowon and Odumegu Ojukwu, went to Aburi in Ghana to have a meeting on how the way forward for Nigeria. And in one of the things that were discussed there is that Nigeria should still remain a sovereign state. That was their mindset, and that was where they were saying. But Gowon has a different view. I mean, sorry, Odumeku Ojukwu had a different view, seeing what is on ground already. His people are massacred, and he's not happy about it. The Igbos were messed up, and he felt the Igbos are marginalized. They are not being carried along. So in that state, he declared, a state of Biafra. A state of Biafra. That's 1966. That meeting occurred in 1966. He declared a state of Biafra. And the ruling council at that time that sat at the Aburi Convention did not go down well with them. And when they came back from Ghana, Gowon became the head of state. And because of that state of declaration of Biafra, this plunged Nigeria into a civil war that lasted from 1967. You can see that there's another war again that took after that coup. There was a civil war in 1967 that took place from 1967 to 1970. 3 years of consecutive war going on in, civil war going on in Nigeria. It was a turbulent one. It was a tough one for Nigeria, you will say. So if you look back right now, you will see most of the people, historians and people that are very critical, call that coup an Igbo coup. It's an Igbo agenda to take over power. So if you look at it very well today, you will see the reason why the Igbo man today is marginalized. In case you don't know, I tell you this. See, our Naira and Kobo, I think it it was instituted at the time of Babangida. Naira and Kobo is our means of currency, our currency for, for transaction. You know, it should shock you to note what that currency Naira and Kobo is not just there, but it has a great meaning. What does Naira means? Naira means never allow Igbo rule again. That's the meaning of the Naira that you are holding in your hands. In case you don't know what it means, never allow Igbo rule again. Since then, they say never allow Igbo to rule. And you know what the Kobo means? Kobo. Kobo means kill Ojuku before others. Kill Ojuku before other Igbos. That was the crux of the matter, in case you don't know. So, if we are seeking for solution of insecurity in our country, let's look back to where the genesis of our problem emanated from. 1966, to present day. Today we have insecurity. Can we really come out of this situation? We can, since we know, the